Here we are again, still celebrating 140 years of the Suffolk Chamber. C140 is the campaign, and we are really enjoying ourselves here. Think of Suffolk and you think of maritime. Think of maritime, you think of Ipswich Maritime Trust. I'm here now with Ben Good. Ben, before we start, can you just describe where we are and this view that we've got here? I want you to paint that picture. I am just in awe of what you've got here. I am jealous. I am envious. Tell me what we can see.
Well, I'm incredibly privileged to be sharing the view with you. I'm sitting on my houseboat at Pinmill, halfway between Ipswich and the sea on the Orwell estuary. It's high tide, so the trees and the woods comes right down to the water's edge at this state of the tide. A lot of more boats out on moorings, it being peak season, and a few boats going up and down the channel as we watch. It's, yes, as you say, quite splendid.
And that big Suffolk sky as well. You've got everything here.
We do, and what's more, we've got the pub about 50 yards away as well, so that's good too.
We might call it on the way back. But let's just talk about a houseboat. People might think of a houseboat as a small barge. Here, we've got massive panorama windows. This is heaven.
I'm incredibly fortunate, I agree. Is
it fortunate? You've worked hard all your life to get this, haven't you? So it's not fortunate, it's hard work.
A bit of both, I guess.
No, it's just glorious. Okay, let's talk about the Ipswich Maritime Trust. You're not actually a member of the Chamber, but you work closely with the Chamber and with ABP.
That's right. The Maritime Trust is been around for some 40 years to promote, well, two things really: promote Ipswich's maritime history, make sure everybody's aware of it, celebrating it, getting the most they can out of it. And secondly, we do support for young people in the local area to get involved on the water in various ways as well.
Modern day people who are down at the waterfront, what used to be the docks, which was the port, can look at it and think, oh, that's very nice. But that port has got a huge history. It goes back quite a way.
In its current form, I guess it dates back to the middle of the 19th century. It was created in 1842. Essentially, they took a bend in the river and did the cut-off channel called the New Cut to create that bend as a sort of freestanding permanent basin. Put a lock gate on it, and now you've got a basin that's full of water at all stages of the tide. So you've got something the big ships can use. That happened 1842, and from that time you've seen an enormous burgeoning of industrial and manufacturing activity around Ipswich docks, and several of those organisations are kind of the founding names of the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah,
because the Chamber and the docks and the Maritime Trust all sort of came together at the right time. It was like our own industrial revolution. Everything was happening here. It was when Ipswich became really important.
Absolutely. At the time of the building of the wet dock, it was the largest of its kind in the country. And it drew, of course, on centuries of trade with its using its agricultural hinterland, but then developed its own manufacturing technologies along the way. So Ransom, Sins and Jeffreys, huge engineering works down around Orwell Quay, was probably the first big name, invented a process for hardening ploughshares as one of their early innovations, but of course went on to do all manner of engineering fabrication activities. Other metal bashers as well, of course, the mills. We know of Cranfield and R.W. Poole, dating back to roughly that era as well. Thomas Pretty, a maker of corsets, one of the first the first big employers in the country to have a creche on site for its female workforce. So innovative and trailblazing in a variety of different ways, you could say, in this town.
Loads of different industries, agriculture as well. Fison's obviously a big part of the port. Even today, Fison's is, people think of Suffolk, they think of Fison's.
Well, our own Coprolite Street down onto the waterfront there, fossilized animal poo, I suppose, but also the basis of a major new agro product for the fertilizer industry. So yeah, still very much in evidence today.
And I can see why the Chamber have come to you, because you must have so much history, so much to bring to them. I mean, you've got photos, you've got archives, you've got documents, all sorts.
Thanks. Yeah, the Maritime Trust, we do a range of things to further our mission around celebrating heritage, and that includes a big archive of images. You can see them on our website. You can also see some of them on the C140 website that was published as part of this exercise by the Chamber of Commerce. We got about 2,000 photos online, and they go back to some of the very first photos taken ever, in fact. So you can see a picture on there of the old customs house just as it was being finished. So that would date it fairly precisely to the late 1850s. You've got photos not only of the buildings, but also the old boats of that era, and of course the people involved as well, those wonderful faces of men and women who have had hard-working lives.
And bringing the trust and the port up to date and the dock up to date is still a busy waterway.
Ipswich is the largest agricultural export port in the country, in fact. So yes, still very much very important. Obviously, as ships have got bigger, the Orwell estuary is not going to be viable in kind of for major international shipping, and we've got Felixstowe at the other end of the estuary as eloquent testimony to that. So I was analysing recently the logbook of entries and exits to the port by ships in the 1960s, so not so long ago, 60 odd years ago. Number of ships coming in and out, massively more than today, but of course they're all a great deal smaller. Now you've got much bigger boats, so the volumes and tonnage and what have you is a bit up on those eras. At the same time, of course, you've got Felixstowe becoming whatever it is, 1/3 of UK imports. So huge in terms of commercial maritime activity, but also very big as a recreational maritime as well. It's about 2,000 moorings on the Orwell estuary of boats, and that draws from not just local population, but of course people come from far and wide to sail in this area as well.
And that work with the Chamber carries on, doesn't it? Because why would it stop? Everybody's working together. Everybody's fighting for the same recognition of Suffolk. And it was a few years ago you'd say Suffolk and people would say where. You say Suffolk and people know now where it is.
Well, we have a huge amount to celebrate, that's for sure. Some of the other things we do in the Trust, we have a programme of events that are partly around the talks we do through the winter on various maritime matters. At the end of the sailing season, we're doing evening talks. But we've also done other things. So we do trips to other maritime centres around the country. We've done workshops for families on researching your maritime ancestors. The Heritage Open Day is coming up, which is a national a celebration across the country of heritage things going on, towns all over the country, and we're doing our bit in Ipswich as well. As you say, we've got a huge story to tell there. Looking further forward, the Maritime Trust at the forefront of efforts to bring back the major maritime festivals that we've had here in Ipswich in the past. So that'll be really exciting when that gets going. We're also very interested in using our maritime heritage as a basis for economic opportunity, educational opportunity for kids, for young people. How to connect more of our young people in the town with maritime activities. Maybe they want a career opportunity, maybe it's just good for developing skills of other sorts.
Recently achieved your Heritage Harbour status, which it's a big thing, isn't it? That is recognition. That's like an Ego Rone star, isn't it? If you're a restaurant hotel, it is really good. Future's looking good, isn't it?
Well, the thing about the Heritage Harbour is it's a great opportunity for us to bring together a whole bunch of different stakeholders in Ipswich to pursue together our objectives around youth opportunities, around celebrating our heritage, using it for cultural value in the community. So yeah, absolutely, it's a big thing, but it's just a badge unless we make something of it, and the plan is to do exactly that.
Finally, before I go, describe the view again. Look out of your window and tell me from right to left what it is, what we're looking at.
Well, my neighbour has a wonderful old cutter that started its existence in the Thames estuary. he's got attached to it one lesser boat that's looking slightly ropier, and then attached to that one boat that's even more ropey. But if you look further out into the channel, we've got two sloops going gently upstream at the moment. The tide's running slightly against them, but it's nearly high tide, so they're making a bit of passage, and that's great. If you look across, you can see Orwell Park, which is Admiral Vernon's old gaff. Admiral Vernon is the inventor of grog, the 1/3 rum, 2/3 water that the sailors of the 18th century so disliked. And halfway across the channel, one of the green marker buoys is called the Grog Buoy in his honour. So yeah, lots to take in.
Final question: can I come back?
You're most welcome.
Regularly, please.
Absolutely, you're buying next time.